Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Fuego here.
Marcia.
Today is the first two and the only two theatrical releases for the Children of the Corn series.
Stevie K, baby!
Absolutely. So the original two films, nothing later than that, no remake yet.
There are a lot of sequels in this series, right?
Yep, and we're going to talk about these two together. We were going to do separate ones, but we decided to just lump them together for you guys. So let's get into the first original Children of the Corn movie.
Yeah.
Fuego, hit the story real quick.
So the story is based on a short that Stephen King actually wrote in the 70s, and that was eventually collected in the Night Shift collection, his first short stories that they all come together, and it's one of his best collections. But this story was very dark, religiously charged. It's essentially about a small town of kids that kill their parents because some religious fervor, whether it's demon possession or whatever, comes into them and they get religious and crazy. And then a couple that is just driving along trying to get to Seattle, they drive through Gatlin, Nebraska, corn town, y'all, and they get mixed up with these crazy, insane children. It's kind of got a Village of the Damned type vibe to it a lot. You can see where Stephen King got some of his inspiration from, and these children are legitimately creepy and killers. So that's about all that you need to know, and it just kind of rolls from there with strange stuff and creepy kids.
It was definitely different than what I expected to be. I actually have never watched any of this series.
Are you familiar with the story, at least? Or?
Well, I knew that it had children and corn in it.
And death.
And death and creepy kids. So
Children, corn, kill!
I didn't realize it was going to be as religious as it was, and I was actually expecting a little bit more gore and a little bit more creepy. I mean, the story seemed a little slow to me, but it was still interesting.
Well, they're expanding on like a 40-page story and turning it into a 100-minute movie, so
Still, that's no excuse for how slow the movie was. It was extremely tedious and sloggy, in my opinion.
It took itself very seriously, too.
And while it may have been scary at the time, watching it again this time around, it was like a lot of close shots of hands holding scythes, a lot of close shots of blood splattering on things after you see the scythe swing through the air, but no actual gore, really.
And I think that's because it was very low-budget 80s, you know? And it looked like it was filmed actually not on a sound set. It was actually filmed out in, the cornfields in the country and stuff. And I'm guessing they didn't have much of a budget, so to do some real good practical, maybe just didn't have it in the cards.
There's some kind of cool implied kills with the hand going through the meat grinder and the splash on the kids' faces.
Yeah, and the other problem I kind of had with it was the fact that the acting wasn't super great.
Really?
I mean, Linda Hamilton was okay. Obviously, I like her, but the kid, Isaac, I actually liked more than I thought, more than I remembered. He was really good at what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was creepy as hell, and he was good at that, and I thought Malachi was good too. The rest were basically just drones. They were just drones, so...
Yeah, I kind of wanted more from the kids. They seemed like they turned really quickly against...
They're impressionable kids, come on.
Yeah, but I feel like if you've already drank the Kool-Aid, it would take you a little bit more than just somebody going, "Hey kids, why are you falling for this? Oh, you're right. This is silly. You just killed all of the adults in the town and been living like this for 3 years, and all of a sudden, all someone had to do was like, this is silly." Like,
approach them with reason, rational reason.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I didn't buy it.
Well, and there were two kids amongst the town that already sort of were checked out and trying to imagine ways to get out, and so that...
Well, 3 technically, but we saw what happened to him.
Right,
so.
but I'm not exactly sure. Like, they got in trouble, and then Isaac sort of didn't punish them, and there was nothing that really came of that.
Well, he didn't punish him because it was the brother of the girl who had the gift of sight and was actually a prophet of sorts. So she was drawing pictures before it happened. So that's why he let her just do her own thing.
Yeah, they didn't drink the Kool-Aid because they talked about in the beginning that the father of the brother and sister didn't like Isaac for some reason. He thought he was kind of a creepy kid, so he was like, "You guys, you come to church with us and stay out of the cornfield with the creepy kids." And so they weren't there to drink the Kool-Aid. No. The sister was super sick, probably because she was coming down with her prophecies, and then the brother was there to watch his father get massacred.
Yeah, that's true. I never even took that into consideration, that's why they were the only 2 kids who weren't going along
because they weren't there.
Good point.
The movie had sort of interesting elements, but as a whole, I just thought it was a little boring. I don't know exactly why it snagged everyone's attention back in the day.
Because it was controversial. Kids killing parents.
Yeah, I suppose that's got to be it.
This is the thing. Cool idea, but I do feel like the execution in this film was pretty poor, and I actually really like the Sci-Fi Channel's remake a lot better. It's more faithful to the source material than that short story, which ends nothing like this movie. It ends very dark in comparison, so check that out if you guys get the chance.
Yeah. Well, I think that pretty much covers part one.
Right.
Guys.
I think they did a good job laying down the base of the storyline. So
yeah, from here we basically move into Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. Which is kind of an odd title for something. Maybe they expected it to be the last one, or
maybe
I highly doubt it with the way they ended the movie.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they were thinking with the title there. I actually enjoyed this one more than the first one because it was much more up my alley into the type of horror I look for, which is lots of gore, lots of direct kills rather than implied kills.
Right.
Obviously, they had a bigger budget this time to be able to pull some of these things off.
I gotta chime in as a fan of just the mythology. They kind of took that and did the sequelitis where they're like small details like the 3 years between. Let's just throw that out. Let's just play in this world, and they kind of went nuts with it, and they were kind of like wink and nod at the camera with some of the jokes and some of the kills, and I mean, it seemed like it was having more fun.
They had a lot of the Wizard of Oz references when it came with like the old school teacher. You didn't catch it at first, but then like when we were watching it, when they came, the house is on stilts. She's moving her house.
This is one of the good kills because this had way better kills than the original film.
Yeah, so she gets under. Okay, so the cat disappears, goes underneath the house. So of course that's where she goes, and you know what's gonna happen next. The kids are gonna flatten her.
Yeah, typical horror film where characters exude poor logic.
Yeah. It's like totally like the Wicked Witch of the East. She even made like a comment.
Oh, what a world!
You what a world! What a world!
Which technically the West Witch says when she's melting, but
whatever.
Or her last name is West.
Yeah.
And then like she gets kind of pulled out from underneath the house just in time for her feet to be hanging out as it crushed her.
Not with red slippers on.
With no red slippers. And then when her sister shows up, she's like, "Oh no, what happened to my sister?" And they're like, "Oh, calm down, Mrs. West." And we're like, "Oh, what? Come on." It was pretty funny.
And the fact that it was played by the same actress too. They
Yeah.
had her hair done up differently. It was a really silly movie that didn't take itself very seriously.
No, I mean the main characters. I mean, what was this one about? It was
story-wise, you've got this guy. He's kind of a tarnished reporter. He's writing for the tabloids now, like the World Enquirer or whatever, as opposed to Newsweek where he started. And his son, I'm guessing. Divided parents, divorced parents, lots of animosity. The kid's coming from New York to be with his dad. I don't know if they ever explained why he was along with dad for said trip or whatever.
I don't know.
But
Forced.
I mean, maybe it's the summer and he's away from school and that's how he meets the girl. And kids weren't in school in this, but so all the displaced kids from Gatlin, they're all going to the nearby Hemingford home, which for all you Stephen King fans know is where Mother Abigail was, and it's also a place used in 2 other King stories. So yeah, it's funny that they're jumping into that mythology and kind of bridging things within the Stevie K world. But aside from that, these kids are still bad, and even in a different town, they're up to that same evil stuff.
Yep.
And
What was really cool though was the transition, because in the first one you don't see Isaac go bad, but in this one you actually get to see
the kid.
It's not Malachi. It was Mordecai. Mordecai. These names are amazing. Mordecai. He actually was going out to the corn to go meet up with all of his besties, and the one who walks behind the rose. Or,
he who walks behind the rose.
Yeah,
he walks behind the rose.
Yeah, he
which
reached
we're
out
not sure is like a cloud or a tremor going through the dirt or whatever they show it. And
I don't know if it's tremor going through the dirt so much as a demon trying to come up through the ground.
I know. I was just kidding, just the way it looked.
Yeah.
I like Smoke Monster.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
But we get the corn cam in this one.
Yeah, but the cool part, the graphics, it was kind of neat. It was like they show you his possession. He gets sucked in, and it was really kind of crazy, kind of claymation-y kind of graphics.
It was the very beginning of digital effects.
Yeah.
And they
Think
really...
another Stephen King, Lawnmower Man.
They really threw themselves into it, where they had him sort of falling through a portal to hell, and then the
stripped
demon...
apart, and then
stripped
put back
apart, and the
together.
demon bonds with him on a cellular level, which was actually really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's really... like a heady sort of concept to try and pull off in a movie in this time, in history, because wow, the digital effects just do not hold up, of course.
No.
But it was
was
still
really
really cool,
interesting
yeah.
to see. That actually might be my favorite part of the movie because it was like, oh wow, now we know why he's, how the possession happens.
Mm-hmm.
It does not look like a fun, process. So
I think another interesting thing they did in this was almost turn the kids into anti-heroes because the parents, unlike in the original one where they seemed innocent and whatever, the adults getting killed in this were not innocent.
No.
They were corrupt, and they were like there was an underlining B story about using pesticides on your corn and trying to sell the corn after it's gone bad to still make a profit so the town doesn't go under.
the effects are what stood out. Obviously, the digital ones we talked about, the gore effects, there were much more this time around. The story was pretty silly.
Yeah.
The acting was hammier than in the first one
Oh,
by
yeah.
a long shot.
I'm surprised this one went to theaters, unlike the third and every ongoing
Well, this one's
one.
probably why they did not come back to theaters.
Yeah, but yet they kept making them. They were up to what, 8 or 9 before the reboot, something like that.
I think they got through 7 before they did the reboot, and then they did another one, Revelation, I think, or no, Revelation might be 7. They did the reboot. They did one more.
There's a new one
which
coming
was
right now.
part of the Dimension Extreme line,
Okay.
which was just called Children of the Corn Genesis, and then
Okay.
supposedly there's a new one in the works for 2017.
And that one is a direct sequel to the sci-fi one that I liked so much. So
Oh,
hey,
nice.
maybe it'll be good. Who knows?
Interesting.
But hey, Children of the Corn 2, dare I say it, more entertaining than
Yeah.
the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the goofy, over-the-top way that it possibly can be.
It had sequelitis and it did
Yeah.
it well.
I really enjoyed it, even though it was kind of silly. I mean, you have to put the time in consideration. I mean, it doesn't. There are movies that were made during that time frame that had more money that were more successful, but you can totally tell the difference between what a good budget can do for a movie. So
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see the rest. Are you guys excited to?
I'm excited to go through them
Urban
again.
Harvest.
I've been through most of them. I liked 3 a lot, especially the end of 3.
I've heard the kills
Beyond
are
that,
even
I don't
crazier in
remember.
3.
I don't remember anything about them really, except for the remake.
Well, I'm in it. I'm in it for the ride. I haven't
Yep.
seen any of it, so
Cool.
Nice.
All
I'm
right.
excited.
Well,
Coolio.
stay tuned, you guys. We will be getting to the rest of the Children of the Corn series in due time. But for now, let us know in the comments below what you think of these original 2 movies. Again, the only 2 released theatrically, so we'd like to know what you guys think. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Which do you like better? And is it just because it's Stephen King, or do you actually like the first movie better?
Hey, read the short story. I think I say that anytime we cover the King. So
Absolutely. So
good.
thanks for watching. I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias. I've been Jaime Fuego.
I'm Marcia Parker.
And until next time, remember,
Stay
stay scared.
Scared.